Now, here's your Nashville's game plan from the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Guided by Nashville Department of Transportation and Multimodal Infrastructure. Slow down, save lives. I'm Connor Newt, a back-to-back homestand in Bridgestone Arena for the Nashville Predators. Saturday, December 20th, the Predators take on the Maple Leafs with puck drop at 6 p.m. And Sunday, the Preds take on the New York Rangers with puck drop once again at 6 p.m.
Your sports live here. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Happy holiday from Houston Clinic Orthopedics, conveniently located where you live and work with various locations in and around the Nashville area. Houston's physicians specialize in spine, joint replacement, knee, hip, upper extremity, and many other orthopedic conditions. At Houston Clinic Orthopedics, they strictly adhere to all CDC guidelines for the patient's and staff's safety. To experience world-class orthopedic care and see a list of all Houston physicians and specialties, visit their website at tn.houston.com and book your appointment online today.
The wait is over. The largest sports book in Kentucky is now open at the Mint Gaming Hall, Kentucky Downs. Feel the rush of every play in a venue built for sports fans. Catch all your favorite games with an 80-foot screen, stadium-style seating, and live daily broadcasts from VSiN, the sports betting network. Plus, download the Circa Sports Kentucky mobile app today and start betting like a pro anywhere in Kentucky. The largest sports book in Kentucky, Circa Sports, is now open at the Mint Gaming Hall, Kentucky Downs.
What's up, guys? I'm your man, Charlie Evelyn, owner of Single Tree Barbecue and founder of the podcast Single Tree Nation. Do you want to help us build community? We have some amazing stories of absolutely incredible entrepreneurs and business leaders in the area. Join us every Saturday from 8 to 9 a.m. on ESPN 94.9 The Fan. Can't make it Saturday? Not a problem. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and you'll never miss an episode.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the George Plaster Show. We are live from the Last Minute Toy Store. As we talked about on Wednesday, we had Dale Roble, who is the president and executive director. We had him on the show on Wednesday to kind of talk about what's going on here. And we are broadcasting live. And let me tell you, this place is awesome. They are the hands and feet of Jesus here, handing out toys to kids who really need it, especially this time of year, and it is incredible. You come in here and you automatically get in the Christmas spirit, and it tugs at your heartstrings a little bit too. That happened as soon as I walked in. It is a phenomenal venue. Very happy to be here. As you can tell, George is not here. If you listened to the show yesterday, you probably heard that he was a little sick. You could probably hear it in his voice a little bit. He is sick, so he is out today. Kelly has some personal matters to attend to, so you're stuck with me, I guess, for the entire 2 hours, but that's okay. We have a loaded show. Terry McCormick will be joining us here in a couple of minutes to give us our daily Titans update. At 3:20, Brad Logan, who covers Ole Miss for a plethora of different outlets. He will be joining us at 3:20 to preview their matchup versus Tulane in the college football playoff. Watson Brown, 4 o'clock. I'm telling you, we're going to do a deep dive into this playoff today. And a very special guest at 4:30. I actually just talked to him. Comedian John Christ will be joining the program around 4:30-ish. So you're going to want to stay in tune for that. John Christ, very good man as he's here volunteering. I know he has a couple of shows coming up in Nashville as well, so he might talk about that as well. So loaded show. And I'm very excited just because there's a lot to talk about. There's so much football this weekend. If you can't get excited, despite the two group of 5 teams being in the playoff and the point spreads on that game, if you still can't get excited about what's going on, I don't know what's wrong with you. We got a couple of bowl games going on as well. We have the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl between NC State and Memphis. At one point, NC State was up 24-7 or 24-0. It is now 24-7 as Memphis scored a couple of minutes ago. I know George is at home probably keeping track of his Memphis State Tigers. Earlier, the Western Michigan and Kennesaw State, I actually didn't see the final score, but it was not pretty early. It was like a mass murder on national television. That game kicked off at 10 a.m. in the Myrtle Beach Bowl from Coastal Carolina and Conway. So, we're already underway, and we got Alabama and Oklahoma tonight, live from Norman, 7 p.m. on ABC and ESPN. And last night, Thursday night football between the Seahawks and the Rams, probably one of the games of the year, if not the game of the year in the NFL. Very high scoring. With that, let's go ahead and head out to St. Thomas Sports Park, where we welcome in Terry McCormick with Main Street Media, our Titans insider. We'll welcome him into the program. Terry, how are we doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing all right. I am flying solo today. It is just me. Kelly has some personal matters to attend to, and I'm sure you heard yesterday, but George did not sound too good. He is sick as a dog, so you're stuck with me for the next 5 minutes.
Well, that's okay. I mean, I hope George gets to feeling better. I was kind of under the weather myself yesterday, so I know from whence he speaks.
Yes, it seems like it's going around, especially with the weather constantly changing, but we'll go ahead and get into it. So I did see the news about Cedric Gray that he has been ruled out for Sunday. Kind of give us a little bit more information on that and what else is going on with the injury report.
Well, Cedric Gray suffered a concussion against the 49ers on last Sunday, and he did not clear the protocol in time. He was on the field today, at least in a limited capacity, but he did not clear the concussion protocol, and so therefore he is automatically ruled out for this ball game on Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs. And that means that James Williams is going to get the start opposite Cody Barton there at that other inside linebacker spot. Cedric Gray has been a big part of this defense all year. He's got 144 tackles, which I think leads the league or is right near the top. And so, that's going to be a big loss in the middle of that Titans defense.
And I know the injury report came out not too long ago, and it seems like the Kansas City Chiefs have a lot of people out as well. So it's looking like a pretty fair fight, and like the Titans may actually have a chance on Sunday. What do you think?
Possible. I mean, it's interesting that, the Chiefs are down to I think a 3-point favorite, and the game is at Nissan Stadium. So, kind of interesting there that, the Titans – would seem to have a chance against the Patrick Mahomes-less Kansas City Chiefs, but they should not underestimate Gardner Minshew because he's had success against them before when he was with the Colts and when he was with the Jaguars.
So I've been thinking about this and watching the Kansas City Chiefs over the last couple of weeks. They just look really tired out there. And I did the math, and since Mahomes has taken over as the starter, they've played 28 extra games due to their playoff runs and the Super Bowl appearances. What do you expect to see from this Kansas City Chiefs team? Because I know they're used to having a winning culture, but they do have a lot of players out as well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because, they've had something to play for over a decade now, the postseason. But with that gone and then Mahomes gone on top of that, it makes you wonder how motivated they will be over these final 3 games of the regular season. Now, that said, there's still some good football players on this team. Chris Jones, Travis Kelce, Rashee Rice. There's still some really good football players on this team. And, you figure those guys will try to rise to the occasion. And talent-wise, even without Mahomes, you would think they probably have the edge over the Titans in most positions.
I saw the Saints, too, the New Orleans Saints. They've won a couple of games in the last 2 weeks. And it seems like what they're trying to do is build that culture under Kellen Moore. And it seems like to them, winning is much more, and establishing that culture is way more important than them getting a higher draft pick. And I kind of have the same conversation with the Titans there is a chunk of this fan base that just wants the Titans to lose out the rest of the way and try to get that number 1, number 2 overall draft pick. But to me, I think building the culture is way more important than getting a draft pick, because if the Titans really are this bad, which we believe that they are, it'll all take care of itself and they will get a high draft pick. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's possible. I mean, I think it's one of those situations where, the Titans, I guess it's a matter of, do you subscribe to whether or not a team, there's carryover from one year to the next, because there's so much roster shuffling and change every off season. But when you've got a young team and you've got young guys like Cam Ward, Jim Dike, Gunnar Helm, Aya Manor, guys that are probably going to be part of your plan for the future, they do need to start learning how to win games, because that's something that's not been in an abundant supply here the last 3 years.
Terry, is there anything else from Titans land that you want to fill the people in on?
One other quick thing, a little update on Will Levis. Apparently, according to Mike McCoy, a few weeks ago, he stopped by the facility and kind of updated them on his rehab, and he should now be beginning to throw the ball. He said that he looked good. McCoy said that he looked good when he saw him and talked to him, and that I guess the rehab process is going well for him.
Is he officially back from California, or do you know if he'll be going back at all?
I think he's probably back out there in California now. Now, I'm assuming, unless they've told him to stay away, and I don't know why they would, that he will be back for the off-season program that begins in April, unless, of course, they trade him. But I'm assuming that he would be back for the off-season program.
Wow. All right. Well, Terry, thank you so much for the update. We will talk again on Monday.
All right. Sounds good. Have a good one, Parker.
That was Terry McCormick of Main Street Media, our Titans insider, filling us in on the latest in Titans land. And that brings us to one place, America's favorite update, our daily sports update, sponsored by the Putting Zone over at 3040 Sidco Drive. Our show will be there on Monday, as we have a couple of shows next week before we get into the Christmas holiday. So real quickly, wanted to recap what we saw on Thursday Night Football, and that was the Seattle Seahawks beating the LA Rams 38-37, probably one of the games of the year. Now, I talked to several people who did not stay up for the whole thing. They actually fell asleep, and when they woke up, boy, were they disappointed. This was an instant classic, one of the better games of the year. I'd put it right up there with the Bills and Ravens game that we saw on Sunday Night Football in Week 1. Also, if you happen to remember the Bears and Bengals from way earlier in the season, that was a great one as well, when the Bengals had Joe Flacco starting at quarterback. But this game had it all. At one point, the Rams had a 30-14 lead. There were actually Seahawks fans that were leaving their stadium, and a Rashid Shaheed punt return for a touchdown completely changed the course of the game. Sam Darnold threw a couple of interceptions, but then he responded very well and made some terrific throws, absolute seeds down the field, and led the Seahawks to an overtime victory. The wild 2-point conversion try that Sam Darnold started under center, got the snap, threw it. It was deflected off of the face mask of a Rams defender. And since it was technically ruled a backward pass, the ball was live because it's considered a fumble. It was picked up by Zach Charbonnet in the end zone. All the players thought the ball was dead, but it turns out it was a live ball. And the Seahawks end up getting a much-needed 2-point conversion. The Seahawks converted 3 2-point conversions. They were 3 for 3, had a major momentum boost in the game. And now the Seahawks are sitting at 12-3, the 1 seed in the NFC playoff picture. Meanwhile, the Rams, they dropped down to the 5. So it was an incredible Thursday night football game. Oklahoma and Alabama tonight. ABC, ESPN, 7 p.m. kickoff from Norman. I'm very excited for this one. Now, if you're anything like me, it does not feel like the college football playoff should be starting this early, because we're used to the 4-team era where the games would happen around the New Year's holiday. But since this playoff is expanded, which I'm going to touch on later, we get our first game tonight. And this, if you're looking at the point spread, Alabama is favored by 1.5. And what that's telling you is this game is basically a toss-up. It's a pick-em. So Oklahoma hosting Alabama, a rematch of a game that happened about a month ago in Tuscaloosa. Oklahoma winning that game 23-21. I expect this game to be phenomenal. Moving on with our update, got a couple more things to touch on. It is going to be a crazy, and I mean absolute nuts, weekend of sports watching. If you have any plans, cancel them. Cancel them. There are too many sports on. We got to watch it all. So tomorrow we have, obviously, the college football playoff. We got Miami and Texas A&M kicking off at 11. That game on ABC, ESPN, emanating from College Station, Texas. At 2:30, Tulane and Ole Miss. That'll be on TNT, HBO Max, True TV. That game kicking off from Oxford at 2:30. James Madison and Oregon, 6:30, kicking off from Eugene. That game also on TNT, HBO Max, and True TV. So we got the college football playoff slate. We have some NFL games. Commanders and Eagles kicking off at 4 p.m. on Fox. We got 2 NFL games. So that being the first of a doubleheader. The game coming to you from Washington, Green Bay and Chicago. Probably the most anticipated NFC matchup this weekend. It's a divisional matchup. Chicago trying to stay atop the NFC North standings. That game kicking off 7:20 on Fox as well. So we got the college football playoff. We have some NFL action. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the college basketball because there's a loaded college basketball slate. Now, obviously, that's all going to get overshadowed by the football, but there are some phenomenal games happening in the hoops world as well, as it's kind of like the pre-Christmas slate of games. St. John's in Kentucky. This is a neutral site, State Farm Arena, Atlanta, Georgia, CBS Sports Classic, 11:30 on CBS. We have Ohio State, North Carolina. Also, that's the second matchup in the CBS Sports Classic, 2 p.m. on CBS. Houston and Arkansas, coming to you from Newark, New Jersey, 4:30 on CBS. We got 2 more really intriguing matchups. Auburn and Purdue, 5:30 tip-off on Peacock. And Duke and Texas Tech, 7 p.m. on ESPN. So it's going to be a wild weekend of sports watching. Again, if you have plans, cancel them. I got 2 more things. Arch Manning, it came out today from On3 that he's going to be taking a reduced house payment so that the Longhorns players and the Longhorns team, they have more money in order to pay other guys to pursue a national championship. And we're starting to see more selfless acts like this really sprinkled throughout college football. John Sumrall, who is the current head coach at Tulane, who accepted the Florida job, he's sticking it out with the Green Wave at least through the college football playoff run as far as they may go. We're going to have Brad Logan on from an Ole Miss insider to talk about that matchup. But we're seeing lots of selfless acts like this because in this economy, in the college sports world, schools, teams, players, they need all the money that they could possibly bring in order to put a legit team that has a chance of winning a national championship out on the field. So we're going to see moves like this happen across the sport. Nick Saban, who bought a minority stake in the Nashville Predators, he is going to have a press conference on Monday. I believe it's at 1 p.m. Central Time. So I'm sure we'll have bits of information coming to you from that. Going to be a crazy weekend, that's for sure. And we're just getting started here on the George Plaster Show. We're going to go ahead and head to a break. When we come back, Brad Logan, Ole Miss insider, is going to join us to preview the Rebels matchup with the Tulane Green Wave tomorrow at 2:30. You're not going to want to miss it. This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
A golf cart from Mikey's Motors is the perfect way to get around this summer. Whether you're going to the park, the pool, or the playground, do it in a brand new golf cart from Mikey's Motors, Franklin and Murfreesboro.
Summertime fun in Tennessee. That's what we sell at Mikey's Motors. Come see how we roll.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun. Here's David Levy of Levy's Men's and Women's Wear in Green Hills.
Hey, George. As a 170-year-old clothier, we are loaded for the holiday season with great gift items for you or your significant other. Plus, we have front door parking, experienced associates to answer your questions, free gift wrap, and we are surprisingly affordable, even for you. This holiday season, treat yourself to a touch of luxury without any of the fuss. Levy's Green Hills, 3900 Hillsborough Pike, across from Virtus and behind Donut Den.
At Wilson Bank and Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank and Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com.
ESPN Radio lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
I'm going to fix that. Welcome back into the George Plaster Show. Quick change in plans. Brad Logan appears to be busy, but we have a pretty cool guest joining us here in just a second. That is John Christ. Here, John, here. Let me adjust the. You can get in right here. How about that?
What's up?
So, John, go ahead and tell the fine people how you got involved with the Last Minute Toy Store.
Oh, man. We've been down here. I've been down here the last couple of years with me and my fiance. And I think maybe it was last year, I remember I was taking everybody around to get the presents. And they said, try to discourage parents from wanting to get a bike because we don't have enough bikes.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? You know what I'm saying? That didn't calculate with me. I go, what do you mean they don't have enough bikes?
Right.
And then we're driving home. This is last year. And I go, I wonder how much it would cost so every family could have an opportunity to get a bike.
Yeah.
And then, Dale's never far from you.
That's right.
Far from your conscience. And he goes, what's that, brother? And I go, we should make sure everybody gets a bike. And he literally, we went to, what is it, Dick's or something like that?
Yeah,
we went to
Academy.
Yeah.
And
just got all the bikes yesterday.
Yeah.
And he met me down there with 2 trucks, and we, hopefully made some kids' dreams come true.
Oh, you probably did. I did hear that story about you going to Academy and buying all the bikes.
All the bikes, yeah. Well, I said, now Dale wanted to buy them all. I said, well, let's leave a couple because if there is a parent in Smyrna last minute, that's where we're down in Smyrna. A parent comes in last minute, we need a bike.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, John Christ bought
all the
bikes. Yeah. Some poor kid down in Smyrna is going to learn to ride a bike this year. Nope.
Yeah. I
we
feel
got
so bad. There's got to be a family out there somewhere that was going to that specific academy hoping to buy a bicycle.
You got to realize how many
gone.
bikes are in there. And I said, we'll take all the ones in the back.
Yeah.
Don't leave all the ones out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully we can. I mean, I never forget when something about a bike. You know.
Yeah.
When
yeah.
When I first learned, I mean, everybody could remember when they got a bike.
Right.
It was
right.
like
magical experience.
No, you became like a superhero.
Right. Right.
You know, you're like, dude, I got this little blue dyno bike. I'll just still never
Man.
forget it. I think
Got
I was
the bell on top.
game over.
Right.
And
right.
we also didn't have handbrakes.
Oh man.
Remember the foot brakes?
Yeah.
You're too young for that.
Yeah, I'm 24.
Foot
So
brakes
that might have been a little before my time.
No, these have foot brakes on them here.
Yeah. Yeah.
That you just go backwards.
I see 'em.
The handbrakes, one of my buddies got handbrakes. I said, what's it like to be rich, bro?
Man.
Handbrakes?
That's how you know. That's how you know.
How you know. And two, both front and back.
Yeah.
Too much.
Man, so I saw the video that you did with Golf Shop Chris.
Oh yeah.
Fun fact: that was my quarterbacks coach in high school
No
at
way.
Donaldson Christian. Yeah,
We gotta take a photo.
yeah. So
We gotta
I
send it
saw
to him.
that video and I'm like,
Yeah.
man, that's my quarterback coach from high school. He's
Yeah.
doing a video with John Chris.
And look
at that.
look at him now.
Look at that. So, are you excited for the college football playoff? Because I know you got Tulane and Ole Miss, and the point spread's pretty big, and it's even bigger with Ole Miss or James Madison, Oregon.
What is it, 24?
Yeah, I think it was 21 and a half last time I checked today.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be worse. I don't think it's big enough.
Oh, because I got crushed. When's the game?
Which one?
James Madison.
James Madison's tomorrow at 6:30.
Okay, because I got crushed on Twitter.
Yeah.
Because I posted, playoff committee. We want the best teams.
Yep.
And then Vegas was like, LOL, 24 and a half. And then everybody's like, oh, dude, the
Not big
JMU fans are rabid.
I've seen
They are
on
rabid.
Twitter. I didn't know their fan base was like that. I know.
Yeah.
I've never met a James Madison
Me
fan.
neither, bro.
So,
Never.
Yeah, no, it's
Well, you know that what's that? Tonight is Alabama.
in Oklahoma.
That might be the best game.
I think so too. And Miami and Texas A&M 11.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
But here's the thing: they're going up against the NFL tomorrow because the NFL has 2 games tomorrow, and that's competing against Ole Miss, Tulane, James Madison, Oregon, Chicago, and Green Bay.
Yeah.
So that's going to be pretty tough for them.
Well, how invested are your listeners with gambling? Are they big gamblers? Or are they?
I'm sure we have a healthy amount of gamblers.
We don't like
out
to
there.
encourage
no,
it, but
no,
we do
of
know
course
the
not.
lines.
Yes, yes, we do. We do know the lines.
Well, I think where you're gonna find value is, I think. Unfortunately, I think the NFL is more value.
Yeah.
In
I'm a
terms
college
of
football guy. Like
gambling?
huge college football guy.
Yeah.
So, but
well, we're on the road a bunch, so we travel on the weekends, and sometimes you fire up that DraftKings and they said location.
Yeah.
And you go, no,
no,
dude. Yeah.
no.
But the best way, what's your strategy? You think you know? You think you know more?
So I'm not a gambler,
You're
but
not
I
a
will
gambler.
pick games. You know, the Capital One Bowl Mania stuff.
Sure. Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'll pick the games. I'm not a gambler, but
Well, my philosophy for the listeners is you go, all right, everything that you know is already in the line.
Yeah.
You were like, oh, Tom Brady is bad on Saturdays below 40 degrees. That's in the line.
Yeah.
Everything.
They know it all.
They know it all.
Vegas knows it all.
So if you're going to find value, it unfortunately has to be in something that they don't know.
Right.
Like I got a lot of NASCAR races.
Yeah.
And if I'm at the track and, Denny Hamlin's crew chief is like, we got a bad transmission.
Yeah.
Vegas, that's not going to get to Vegas and there's no way.
No way. No way.
Or if you're watching Titans practice.
Yeah.
Cam Ward rolls his ankle, bet at them.
Yeah. Yeah. Because Vegas doesn't know. Vegas has no way to know.
That's why it's impossible. That's why it's impossible to prognosticate unless it's pretty much injury related.
Right.
And even then, it's not a guarantee.
Right. Vegas.
You're right. You should be encouraging people not to gamble.
Yeah. No.
They're
this
listening
is not
to me.
a pro gambling show
this
whatsoever.
guy, John Christ, is indeed.
He's the one that's encouraging gaming. I saw the spread for the Oregon James Madison game, and to be honest, I don't think it's big enough because
it's 24.
One
right?
has Dan Lanning on the other side.
Yeah.
And he's viewing this as a tune-up game for Texas Tech. You ever seen the movie Gladiator?
Yeah, of course.
I think Oregon's going to give them the
And what you can't prove is the like emotion.
Right.
You go out and then you go, oh, like I went to Oklahoma LSU when LSU went to Oklahoma 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, and the same I went to Oklahoma when they played Tennessee.
Right. Right.
And Oklahoma in Neyland Stadium, I promise you, was not scared.
No.
And it was that Halloween game. Remember,
Yeah.
was
How
all
incredible
dark.
was that atmosphere?
Unbelievable.
That was one of the best atmospheres I've ever seen.
And I go, dude, if you were like if you're from dang, Nicaragua or something like that, or the Netherlands, nobody does it like that. And even the NFL doesn't do it like that.
No, Kirk Herbstreit was talking about it.
Like,
that was the best
like the
atmosphere
eighth wonder of the world.
Right.
You're like, even if you had no idea, you were like, wait, what is this? And the tea that was lit up and the dark
mode.
Yeah, that was
had the dark
unbelievable.
uniforms.
It was so loud.
Running out the tea. It was glowing the dark. It was insane.
And the dancing and all, like the producer of that was just. But all the Oklahoma players, they walk arm in arm to the, and I go, that is where you could go to a game and feel it,
right?
And then go, these guys are not scared, and put money on it. Then versus, you know what I'm saying? Because you go going into Neyland at night.
How are you not intimidated a little bit?
That's what I'm saying. But they've been doing that. They've been doing that.
I think Oklahoma's going to win tonight. I do.
I like that pick.
I think Alabama's very banged up.
Pick.
So I think Oklahoma's going to win tonight. And it's at home. It's in Norman. So,
yeah, Norman's not that scary of a place to play.
But Oklahoma beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, they did.
About a month ago. So
yeah, they did. And I don't think, what is that, a croc? What is that?
I don't know. Maybe we should find out.
Oh, no, that's a skateboard or something like that. Yeah, I don't. What's the line?
I think it was 1.5 for Alabama, in favor of Alabama. Which makes me a little nervous.
That does make me nervous because Kalen DeBoer is unproven.
Yeah,
he didn't get in last year, right?
No,
he's never been in.
No,
but neither has
Oklahoma.
Neither is Oklahoma. Neither is Brent Venables.
And you get an extra 2-point bonus for being at home. So if Alabama was playing in Tuscaloosa,
they'd be favored by
3.5,
a field goal,
right? So again, Vegas might know something that we don't.
And everybody says Alabama shouldn't be in, right?
There are some people out there that say that. I don't agree. But
you say what? They should be in?
I think they should.
Well, the only argument I heard was that it would render the SEC championship.
What's the point of playing the game?
Yeah, I think they had to.
Right, because they were in the field before.
That made a lot of sense to me.
Right.
So you go, well, what are we supposed to do? You can't penalize somebody, and then you got somebody like Vanderbilt or Texas A&M or that didn't play.
Right.
Texas A&M didn't play in it.
No.
And you could argue if they played in it and lost that game, they would have been out with 2 losses.
Because think about it. Alabama was technically the 1 seed. And if they lost that game and got booted, could you imagine what Greg Sankey would raise hell?
Oh, dude.
You know he would.
Greg Sankey,
no more championship games. He would find the playoff committee, burn it to the ground. That's what he would do.
Yeah, and Greg Sankey got more power than Trump.
Exactly. He does, especially in the South.
Stop, dude. Where'd you get that?
So you're a big sports fan, right? You
Big
grew up in
sports fan,
Georgia.
yep,
So
yep.
who are your teams?
Man, I'm Braves, Atlanta Braves, Atlanta Hawks, Atlanta Falcons, Georgia Tech, and I went to Samford University in Birmingham. So yeah.
Okay. Did you play any sports at Samford?
I played tennis.
So you're D1 athlete.
D1 athlete.
Former D1 athlete.
Yeah, I want to brag
John
about
Chris?
it. I don't want to brag about it, but people don't assume that by looking at it. But does tennis count?
Yeah,
it counts.
That's a sport. Yeah. I mean, most people know you as a comedian, but what they don't know is you're a D1 athlete too.
Brother, if they would have had an NIL,
man, you would have been raking it in. Huh?
Wow, dude. Well, I would have been a comedian, I guess, back then. But yeah. I mean, dude, I would have gone. I asked my buddies that we all went to play tennis together. I go, what would you have left for? Like, what would you to like go to to go to UAB? He was like, brother, $500. I mean, or let you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you're probably not going to get a lot anyway at that level.
If back then, if UAB said we will pay you $1,000 to come play for us and leave Samford, I would have.
Yeah, back then it was illegal too. So if they found out, so
I mean, this is I guess the transfer portal is because we lost our basketball coaches, Bucky McMillan.
Yeah,
and we lost him to Texas A&M.
Bucky ball. Yeah,
Bucky's at Texas A&M, and we have Lenny Acuff from Lipscomb.
Yes. Yes, Lenny Acuff's a good coach.
Lenny Acuff's a good coach.
So,
yeah.
okay.
We might be. If you're putting money on teams to make the NCAA tournament,
Sanford, baby,
don't
let's
bet
go.
against the Dogs. Baby.
I went to a camp at Sanford one time, way
Did you?
back in my day.
Oh,
Way
yeah?
back in I forgot who the head coach was at the time, but
It was probably.
it would have been around 2018.
He said, "My guy PK."
Yes. I love Coach Pierce. Love
Coach Pierce. That's what you call him, Coach Pierce.
Yes.
How did he get into golf?
I don't know. I never asked him, but I know he's a demon out there on the golf course or the golf course.
Demon.
So
Yeah. Is he a
he's
good coach?
He is. He taught me a lot, especially from the mental aspect, because playing quarterback, it's all mental.
Yeah, all
it's
mental.
not physically the hardest position to play, but mentally you got to know what everybody's doing.
Yeah.
So he was.
Did you
great.
see that thing from Kirk Cousins yesterday?
I did.
Yeah,
it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal.
Wild,
So
dude.
you're a Falcons fan.
Big Falcons fan.
How are you feeling about the season so
Let's
far?
not bring it up, brother.
Because. So I made the mistake of accidentally starting Drake London last week when he was out on fantasy, and it cost me a playoff game.
Why'd you do that?
Because
You
I
didn't
forgot
know.
to check,
Yeah, you
and
didn't
he
know.
was questionable leading up to the game.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah,
he's probably good to go because he missed the week before.
Gosh.
And then they ruled him out right before the game.
Yeah.
I was so busy, forgot to check.
Dang.
It cost me a playoff game.
Well, you're down here volunteering,
Yes.
so you're doing a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the Falcons. We're not sure if we're not sure if Penix is the guy. We
Really?
got so much talent, and we're not sure. We're also not sure if we got the right guy leading the ship in there either.
Yeah, Raheem Morris.
Yeah, because he was the interim coach for us,
Right.
and it was not good.
I have some questions too. That
Yeah, you should
roster's
have
too
questions.
talented.
Too Bijan is just a freak, dude. This
Kyle
Drake
finally
London,
came out of nowhere.
all over everything. Yeah, we got athletes all over. We were projected to win the division.
Yeah, came out of witness protection against the Bucks. And
Dang, dude.
so
Yeah, I mean it's the thing about the NFL is there's no really you know how like Michigan just fired their coach.
Yeah.
But that was for cause.
Yeah,
It sounded like, but
we've talked about that at nauseum. So
but you go, well, who's there to hire? Everybody's firing their coach. You know what I'm saying?
This cycle,
Everybody's firing their
crazy.
coach. So there's nobody to hire.
This cycle was nuts. It's the craziest I've ever seen it. So
But everybody's unhappy with because what happens is now with the NIL, you're a rich guy that lives in Lexington.
right.
You're like, all right, I'm gonna drop a couple $1 million into this basketball program,
Yep.
and then you go, if this guy's not fired, I'm not giving.
Right.
And then he's gone.
It's nuts.
It's nuts.
This world
dude,
that
it's
we
nuts.
live in, ever since NIL transfer portal,
Yeah.
I don't even recognize the sport anymore. Almost. So
No, it's sad to see. Well, it's sad, but also Sanford, and you get a team like these teams that are in the games, like Southern Methodist.
Yeah.
That you're like, well, they're competitive now.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt's
Right.
competitive now.
you can be with a little bit of money.
You can
Vanderbilt's
be.
figured it out.
And
Indiana's figured it out.
Figured it out.
So and
And
they're
so
the
it's-
1 seed in the whole thing. Indiana, not in basketball, in football. Look at that. They're bringing us all.
Y'all
the
can't be
games.
doing this, man.
They're bringing us all the games. So
And you don't. It's good and bad because Sanford was in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Because of the NIL
right.
only. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you go, I don't know. I guess it's by default. It's like by default, Alabama would just get everybody, and Oregon would just get everybody. And now
Right.
somebody goes, I'm going to go to BYU.
If I'm not playing, I'm out. I'm going somewhere else where I
Yeah.
can play.
And you don't sit for 4 years.
Nope.
You're never doing that.
No, it's not
But
a thing
then
anymore.
I
In
just
bowl
don't like.
season, a lot of people
cares,
have become
dude?
apathetic towards the bowl games. Which,
This is going to be a hot take. Let me just drop it on you.
oh gosh, here we go. Let's hear it.
I agree with Lane Kiffin.
You agree with Lane
I agree
Kiffin?
with Lane Kiffin. Now let me about sorry, not Lane Kiffin. I mean, I don't. The schedule did that to him, but I agree with.
I agree with that.
I agree with Notre Dame.
You agree with Notre Dame?
Yeah,
That they should be.
they should.
in.
They should not play.
Oh, they should not play.
Yeah, because
Really?
they're not playing a bowl game, right?
No,
We're not
they would have
playing.
went to the Pop-Tarts Bowl most
Yeah,
likely.
they shouldn't play. Now it's sad. I know you say that you like for the seniors.
Yeah.
But all those kids are either leaving anyway or getting more money, and the game doesn't matter.
I hate that we've come to this point.
So
I
do
really
I.
do.
So
Because
do
I'm
I.
a romantic
But
about college
so am
football.
I.
So
And you got to put the pressure on the associations that have done that to the portal,
I have an
and
idea.
they've done that in the scheduling. I don't. But we're just gonna. we don't have any power unless you say we're not going.
We need a commissioner, right?
Of what?
Of college football.
Yeah, we need a commissioner of college football.
I would love to be commissioner one day. One day. That's a goal of mine. One day. I have an idea, and we've talked about it on this show. Taking the group of 5 out of the main playoff, having their own playoff where they can actually, because think about it, James Madison and Georgia are competing for the same trophy. They're not playing the same sport, right?
No, they should.
So having a separate group of 5 playoff where they can compete for a trophy they could actually win.
Yeah.
Would you be on board?
100%. 100%. Because you can't, it shouldn't, like Sanford, we're a Division I AA. Like, we don't need to be competing against everybody.
Right.
We shouldn't. My thing is, and this is probably in too deep, but all of sport is like if you're in the NFL, you're the worst team. What's your reward for that? The number 1 pick.
Getting the number 1, yeah.
Right? Same in let's say football's like that, basketball's also like that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to have even playing because basically when you go out you buy tickets in Oklahoma City, you want to see a competitive game.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you got baseball.
Yeah.
No salary cap. So the Yankees are playing the Royals, and it's never going to be
the
competitive.
Marlins way down here. Yeah.
Never going to be competitive.
Yeah.
And then with all they've done with college athletics, what's the most pure competition? You would say the Olympics. But even then, we have more training. We have more training. We have more, like, everybody's going to run 100 meters. We got better shoes. We got better training. We got hyperbaric chambers.
Right.
We got all the stuff that Rwanda doesn't have.
Yeah.
Not picking on anybody, but I'm saying, and everybody lives and dies by college football, but now it's all money too. You're a romantic is what you said.
Yeah.
And maybe the guys that we made fun of growing up that liked wrestling, maybe they were right the whole time.
Were you a wrestling fan growing up?
I was not a wrestling fan, but I liked racing. I like NASCAR.
Yeah.
And maybe how we should treat sport is let's all go out, have some drinks, watch the thing, but we can't be fighting with each other about sport.
Right.
But everybody knows wrestling is fake. But have you ever been to like Raw?
No, I haven't, and it's on the bucket list. It's on the bucket list. They've had
unbelievable.
several events in Nashville. I don't know why I haven't been.
If you want to go Monday night, you want to go see the Preds lose by 6 goals, or you want to go see Monday Night Raw, and you will watch things in there. You will go, what?
What in the world?
But it's all fake. But my point is, it's all fake.
Right. It's all
not fake, but it's not as
scripted.
No, all of sport.
Yeah.
All of sport is manipulated in some kind of way.
What does the Bible say? Money is the root of all evil.
Now you're bringing it back to the Bible. It's right. It's right.
It's so unfortunate. It's so unfortunate. But I think having a separate group of 5, and then we got to figure out the rest of the bowls too, because they're not just going to die off, and I don't want them.
You
to
don't think
off.
they will?
I don't think they
already are. They?
I think there's still some money on the table for some of these smaller teams
to make an appearance.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to completely die. I think there's a way that we can kind of reconfigure the bowl season. But
so like Notre Dame is like, you're going to get $2 million. They go, we don't care about $2 million.
Yeah, we're Notre Dame. Dude. We're Notre Dame. We already have the $2 million, right?
Yeah.
So,
but I think what Notre Dame did is going to put the pressure on the NCAA,
right,
to figure out what we're going to do.
Yeah,
I like that.
But the NCAA,
the wrap, dude.
They're already they've lost their power. They've lost their power.
The governing body
back in
has
the day,
lost their power.
If the NCAA came knocking on your door, that was like the feds knocking on your door. Now they come knocking on your door, and nobody cares.
What's his name? Marcus Freeman says, "Dude, I got a meeting.
Yeah.
I got a meeting with Wendy's, and they're going to give us $80 million.
If we put their logo on our jerseys, So
I like the kids are getting paid though. You like that or no?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of like the Reggie Bush conversation. Like, like they deserve to be able to market, but it's just out of control because there's no rules around it.
Yeah.
So, and they're trying to figure out the rules with the College Sports Commission, but they're dragging their feet. So
I think everybody, even Sanford was getting like $6,000 a month or something.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
Right.
That would change my life. And then you got guys like Mendoza might stay.
Because
he can make more money at Indiana, which I don't hate that either.
That's just crazy to think about.
Dang, dude, we got to end this with a prayer or something like that.
My wife and I and another couple are going to your show in January.
Are you
at the
coming
Grand
out?
Ole Opry.
Oh, yeah, brother.
So
I'll be there.
This will be my second time seeing you. I
Oh,
also
really?
saw you at the Ryman.
Oh, let's go, dude.
So I can't remember, maybe 4 years ago.
Oh, yeah, we're going to be dialed in.
So
we're going to be dialed in.
We're excited. We're
All right,
excited.
you gonna broadcast from the lobby?
Maybe if they let us. They let us. We can make it happen. Do a little pregame.
Do a
you know?
little pregame. Well, we added a second show.
Okay.
Yeah, in February 19th.
Yeah.
That's same spots. Maybe we can do it then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that'll be awesome. John, really appreciate you coming out.
Honored to be on the show, brother.
Talking a little ball.
When is the commercials? We don't have
we're
commercials.
going to go to commercial break. We went a little long, but it's worth it.
Segment.
It's worth it.
Honored to be here, brother. Thanks for everything you do for the Last Minute Toy Store.
Absolutely. Well, John, really look forward to seeing you in January, and best of luck with everything going forward. Best of luck to Sanford.
Thank you, brother.
So,
go Dogs,
Go
baby.
Dogs. That was John Chris, comedian and former Division I athlete, joining us here on the program. Always appreciate him stopping by as we are at the Last Minute Toy Store. We're going to go and head to a commercial break. We'll be right back on the other side. This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Bleav Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Sports and Social at Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a racing sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall.
Smashville hockey. Around here, it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
George, Levy's holiday collection is packed with bold looks, cozy favorites, and gifts that will
Here's David Levy of Levy's Men's and Women's Wear in Green Hills.
George, Levy's holiday collection is packed with bold looks, cozy favorites, and gifts that will make you and your loved ones smile. Come visit us at Levy's and let us help you celebrate the holidays in a relaxed, friendly atmosphere with plenty of front door parking, free gift wrap, and we are surprisingly affordable. Levy's, 3900 Hillsborough Pike, across from Virtus and behind Donut Den.
Here's Officer Garen Hoskins for the Metro Nashville Police Department.
The Metro Nashville Police Department is on the forefront of policing in this century, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I get to find other good officers, other future good officers. And if you're watching today, or you yourself or someone you happen to know is interested, join MNPD.com. Feel free to reach out to us because we need good officers, and it's a great city to work for.
PastorGeorge@gmail.com. We will fit your budget and your needs.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Welcome back into the George Plaster Show, broadcasting live from the Last Minute Toy Store. We're joined by John Chris, comedian, and you probably didn't know, former Division I athlete. I Bleav we have Brad Logan also joining the program, Ole Miss insider. They have a game versus Tulane tomorrow, the first round of the playoffs, kicking off 2:30 Central Time from Oxford. So when he is able, we'll talk some Ole Miss football as they are, went through the Lane Kiffin drama. The dust has settled pretty much for the most part on that. Pete Golding new head coach, Trinidad Chambliss, been absolutely spinning the rock. So lots to look forward to in the world of college football. First game tonight, Oklahoma and Alabama. We are joined by Ole Miss insider Brad Logan now. Brad, how are you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on today.
Well, and in case you didn't hear it at the top of the show, George is sick today, so I have taken his place and really excited to talk some Ole Miss football with you.
Well, I appreciate that. Best wishes to George. I'll have to reach out to him, but it's an exciting time here in Oxford. I mean, it's the very first college football playoff game. The very first time Ole Miss is in a position like this is probably 1964, and it's a monumental game and an opportunity for new head coach Pete Golding, which is quite odd to say that. When you have a team that's won 11 games in regular season for the first time in program history, and you've got a new coach. So Pete Golding will have an opportunity to lead this team out, has been the defensive coordinator here at Ole Miss, been the defensive coordinator at Alabama, UTSA, and then played at my alma mater, a Division II Delta State University many years ago. So it is a special time for Ole Miss, but an equally special time for Pete Golding and his family as he's the new head coach at Ole Miss.
So, Brad, I wanted to ask you, now that the dust is kind of settled with the Lane Kiffin drama, what's the mood, not just within the team, within the players, but really around the city of Oxford?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are two ways to answer that question. I think both are true. Lane Kiffin will go down in history as one of the greatest to ever coach in Oxford. 48 straight weeks in the top 25. Like I said, the first 11-win season, won 10 games, I think 4 out of the last 5 years. So the numbers and the accolades that came in under his watch are absolutely warranted. He's an incredible football coach. On the flip side, the off-the-field antics that Ole Miss had to deal with, and, of course, now is dealing with at LSU, it's kind of the back and forth and that sort of thing. I think Ole Miss fans are number one, grateful for what Lane Kiffin has done because he's an incredible coach, but also ready to turn the page by the way this was handled. Lane just didn't handle this very well down the stretch. The good news for Ole Miss is they played under intense, just so much unknown over the last 5-6 games. And, the good news for Ole Miss is they won all of those games. So there were a lot of distractions, but Ole Miss did not allow it to bleed onto the field. So I think it'll be a bit of a cathartic moment for Ole Miss fans to be able just to have a coach in Pete Golding that's very open that he's happy to be here. Secondly, you've got Joe Judge, the quarterback coach that met with the media earlier this week, that basically said, I'm grateful for the opportunity to coach Ole Miss. I'm grateful for the contract extension. And I think Ole Miss fans appreciate that. So I think to answer your question, number one, man, Lane Kiffin was incredible for university. A lot of positive things for university. The job in and of itself is where it is because of Lane Kiffin. But on the flip side, I think it was time to part ways. And I think Ole Miss fans are excited about the future.
It's been an incredible story for sure. So this matchup with Tulane tomorrow is a rematch of a game that took place in week 3 in which Ole Miss won 45-10. And clearly, teams get better or worse as the season progresses. When it's really early in the season, sometimes it's hard to get a read on these teams. Do you expect a more competitive Tulane team this time around?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. That's a really good point. It's a great question. And I do anticipate a much better game. The spread came out. I think FanDuel has it at 16.5. It opened at 17.5. But these are two different teams. And we just don't know the folks that cover Ole Miss. We do not know what Ole Miss will look like with a new head coach because we've never seen Pete Golding as head coach. So I think that unknown is there. John Summerall has got one foot out the door. He's headed to Florida. So, Tulane's dealing with a lot of distractions too. So it's not just Ole Miss. But, Jake Ratzlaff, who is the leader on this team for Tulane, the leading rusher, the leading passer, he was only 5 of 17 for 54 yards in the first meeting on September 20th, exactly 2 months from when this game will kick off tomorrow in Oxford. So he didn't throw it well. He didn't run it very well. In fact, they pulled Jake Ratzlaff in the third quarter. And so now we know that Tulane would go on and win the American Conference, that Jake Ratzlaff would be an incredible leader on this team. He's leading the team, obviously, in the passing department, in the rushing department with over 600 rushing yards. So he's going to be a difficult out for Ole Miss. We heard from Pete Golding last night on Rep Talk, and he talked about being familiar with John Summerall's offense and defense and, of course, being familiar with Tulane. But I think oddly enough, it probably benefits Tulane because it's awfully difficult to beat the same team twice in one season. The good news for Ole Miss is on paper, they're much more athletic than Tulane. They played much better competition, and I think Ole Miss probably is going to win this game by maybe a touchdown, maybe two, but I do think it'll be much closer than that 45-10 game a couple of months ago.
Brad, I wanted to ask you about Trinidad Chambliss because I really don't think this story is getting as much attention as it deserves. There's a lot of focus on Fernando Mendoza, which is also a great story in Indiana, Vanderbilt, Diego Pavia. But this Trinidad Chambliss story to me as a former quarterback is so fascinating coming from Division II Ferris State. And when I first saw the news way back before the season started that he was transferring, I really didn't make much of it because I thought Austin Simmons was the guy. But Trinidad Chambliss has come in and played so well. What do you expect from him tomorrow?
Well, I think right now Ole Miss is waiting to see if Trinidad Chambliss gets another year of eligibility. We thought that would come last week. Trinidad Chambliss told the media this week that he anticipated any day now. So the question is will that extra year of eligibility be used at Ole Miss or elsewhere? So there is that component of that, but that's kind of a tomorrow problem. A today problem is getting past Tulane. And Trinidad Chambliss is someone that no one really anticipated playing very much this year for Ole Miss. But what happens? Austin Simmons injures the ankle against Kentucky. Trinidad Chambliss comes in and leads the team to victory over Arkansas. And as they say, the rest is history. He's been really good throwing the football and also running the football, but mainly from the pocket. And he's got some of the best receivers in the country to throw it to with Deshaun Stribling, Deuce Alexander, Trey Wallace, Caden Lee. They've been really good for Ole Miss. And the good news, too, tight end Daquan Wright's been listed as it's probable for this game. He's been dealing with a shoulder injury all year long. One of the best tight ends out of the backfield, blocks really well for the Rebels, along with Trace Brucker, that other tight end. So Chambliss has been really good, mainly because of the products around him. Kewan Lacey, the starting running back, leads his team in rushing, leads the country with 20 rushing touchdowns. Not only is a good running back, is a terrific pass blocker. And that's one thing that's allowed quarterback Trinidad Chambliss to be so good around that offensive line, too, that John Garrison, the offensive line coach, has signed an extension, so he's good for the next couple of years. Bryson Sanders has already said he's coming back, the starting center. So a lot of positive things around that Ole Miss offense, but Trinidad Chambliss is you're only as good as your surrounding cast, and for Trinidad Chambliss, he's got a darn good surrounding cast, and he's been really good for the Rebels coming in, filling in for Austin Simmons after the injury, and then taking over the job.
Brad, this has been a topic of discussion around this show in particular, but it's kind of, sweeping the college football media. We're all talking about the group of five inclusion in the playoff. And I don't believe a lot of people have an issue with one group of five, but the fact that we have two has kind of caused a lot of debate. What we've talked about on this show is, because if you think about it hypothetically, James Madison and Georgia are competing for the same trophy. Now, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that those two teams are not playing the same sport. Would you be opposed to keeping the group of five out of the main playoff and having, a 12-team college football playoff, Power Four only, and then maybe having a separate group of five playoff to give them a chance at competing for their own national title?
Yeah, what I've always suggested is a group of five, 8-team conference championship. I'm sorry, an 8-team playoff is what I should say for the group of five. And I think the group of four, as we say, should have their own playoff. So, and I'm not saying that I believe that BYU should be in, or Miami, Miami's in, but Notre Dame, Vanderbilt. I'm not saying they should all be in the college football playoff, but I think they all should be in over JMU and Tulane. I've said that all along, and that's no slight against them, those two teams. It's just the other teams have played much different competition. And so I'm all for a playoff for the group of five and the group of four, what have you, but I do believe that this thing's going to 16 teams next year. I talked with Director of Athletics Keith Carter at Ole Miss. He thinks it's going to 16. I think it's going to 16, and I do agree with you and the other folks that you've talked to. I think there should be a group of five and a group of four college football playoff. Maybe the group of five, or I get them all confused. But like the groups of James Madison and Tulane, they should be like an 8-team playoff, and the other should be a 16-team playoff. But I agree with that.
Well, Brad, really appreciate you coming on the show today. We're hoping for a competitive game tomorrow, but nonetheless, really appreciate you coming on. Have a great rest of your weekend.
You bet. Thank you.
That was Brad Logan, covers Ole Miss for a bunch of different outlets. He's one of the best. So we really appreciate him coming on the show today to preview the college football playoff weekend. We're going to go and head to a break. We come back on the other side. We'll have Stat of the Day, followed by our beloved Watson Brown. And we'll continue this college football playoff preview right here on the George Plaster Show.
If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400. The folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400.
Now, here's your latest Fox 17 Code Red weather report.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bowe. Best sunshine here on your Friday. High temperatures a little on the colder side. We'll stay in the low 40s. Overnight, we drop down to 30 and stay clear, and back into the upper 50s for your Saturday.
Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Looking for the best spot to watch the big game? Head to Beyond the Edge. Voted Nashville's best sports bar 3 years in a row. Located in East Nashville, it's the perfect place to catch every play. And now's your chance to score big. On December 26th, Beyond the Edge is giving away Music City Bowl tickets. Bring your crew, grab some wings, catch all the action, and come on by for your shot to win. Be part of the fun at Beyond the Edge, Nashville's best sports bar. Beyond the Edge. Great food, great drinks, and great times.
The perfect gift, lavish and luxurious, yet affordable, breathtaking and joy-inspiring, yet simple for you. The gift card from A Moment's Peace. A spa day she customizes exactly the way she wants. Give her the gift she won't buy herself. An escape, a bit of luxury, something special that shows how much you care. A gift card from A Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa. Call 615-224-0770 or go online at amomentspeace.com.
At DePauw University, curiosity has no limits. In the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, students ask bold questions and connect big ideas that shape tomorrow. Discover how thinking can take you anywhere. Learn more at depaw.edu.
Do you ever feel like gambling is causing financial strain or hurting your relationships? The Gambling Clinic has been helping people change their gambling habits for over 2 decades. With physical clinics and remote online appointments, we're here to help you make informed decisions about your gambling. Visit us at thegamblingclinic.com so we can work together to help you win back your life. This project is funded by the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services. Brought to you by the Tennessee Gambling Clinic, the Tennessee Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Time for our stat of the day, brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. Looks like it's just me, so here we go. Sam Darnold is the second quarterback in NFL history to lead 2 different teams to 10-plus wins in back-to-back seasons. Who is the other quarterback? Now, without seeing the answer, my guess would be Tom Brady doing it with the Patriots in his final season that year that they lost to the Titans in the wild card round, then doing it the very next year with Tampa Bay. That would probably be my best guess. Let's see the answer. Tom Brady, look at that. 1-0. I'll have to let Kelly and George know on Monday. Without further ado, let's get to one of our favorite guests that we have every week on the show, our dear friend, Watson Brown. Watson, how are we doing?
We're doing great. You did good. You're 1-0. George is, I would say, around 10% through all the years I've been doing that with him. So,
Watson, it's not been too hot for George lately, and also he's under the weather, so he's really not doing well right now.
Hello?
Did I lose you for a second, Watson?
Yeah.
Okay.
You disappeared.
Perfect. I got you back. So, I was saying George has not done too well on the stat of the day, and he's also under the weather. He got really sick yesterday, so he's not here today. It's just me.
Oh, well, I hope he's okay. But you're doing good. And believe me, he's consistent around 10%, I'd say, on those picks. So I'm getting those answers right.
I'd have to agree. Are you staying dry and warm? We've been getting a lot of rain here in Nashville. It's also been really cold. You staying dry and warm over there in Cookeville?
Yeah, it was nice today. We got a ton last night. I'm telling you, we got it pretty good. But beautiful day today. A little cool, but this time of year you'll take sun anytime you can get it.
Amen to that. So we got a lot of football to this weekend, a lot of football to discuss, starting with Oklahoma and Alabama tonight, 7 p.m. kickoff in Norman. Watson, I got to be honest, I'm leaning towards the Sooners on this one because I know Ty Simpson's been a little banged up. I don't know their health of their running back situation. They haven't been able to run it well, really, in general. Who do you think is going to win in this one?
I just can't. With Alabama, just cannot run the football, and you don't fix that in a week. They ran it in one game. They ran it well against Vanderbilt in the second half. I remember they had a 9-10 play drive, all runs, went down and scored and eat up about 8 minutes in the fourth quarter. But since then, they just cannot run the ball. And if you can't run the ball on Oklahoma with all the pressures that they have and the exotic pressures and the athletes doing it, I don't think you can beat that without keeping them in a balanced way. And so and it's in Norman. So I got to pick Oklahoma, which would be 3 in a row. And that don't happen a lot, but I just think they're going to do it again tonight. I think it's going to be a real close game, but I believe Oklahoma will pull it out again, unless Oklahoma does one of those turnover games on offense. I think that's the only way Alabama can win the game.
So, Watson, when I'm looking at this game, I look at Oklahoma and I think about their style of play, and John Mateer really hasn't looked the same since the hand injury. But Oklahoma's been able to win games without John Mateer playing at his 100% because their defense is so good. They've been getting a little bit of a run game. They've been getting some help in that aspect, and they've really been able to tilt the field on their opponents and win. Get good field position. With Alabama, if they don't have Ty Simpson playing at 100%, it's hard for me to see many worlds in which they are able to win, especially in a hostile environment like Norman.
Yeah, and I think more than Ty, to me, it's the offensive line. Those pressures and Ty getting the checks and turning the protections and trying to figure out where the pressures are coming from and try to turn the protection toward those pressures. That's what the quarterback has to do. And then they've got to be able to block 4 guys up front. And then the 2 games they played them, they hadn't been able to do that. So I still think it's Oklahoma. I read this week where this is the first week that Mateer has practiced without a brace on his thumb. So that's a good sign that now he's free to go. And he's won the 2 Alabama games with his feet, or he sure won the last one with his feet. He's not beating them throwing it, but he makes some big plays, some call runs and some scrambles, and in all these big close games they had at the end of the year. I don't think he's gotten enough credit for plays he makes at critical times. He has not played well, but he's made big plays at critical times. And so I think they'll get the best John Mateer that's been since he broke that thumb before the Texas game.
Yeah, and really, if you think about it, they've had about 3 weeks since they last played a football game, and for hand injuries, really, it's just about time and rest. So it'll be interesting to see if he's near 100% tonight. But I think it's going to be a phenomenal game. The other game that I wanted to touch on was Texas A&M and Miami. This is both of these teams' first appearance in the college football playoff. Texas A&M favored by 5.5. Who do you like in this one?
I'm going with the Aggies. Miami has the best defensive front, I think, in college football. But A&M's going to have to handle that, and Reed is going to have one heck of a game. And I think his feet will be a big piece of this. And the only reason that I wouldn't pick him if that sprained ankle he got in the Texas game is still not 100%. And if that's true, and he can't move the way he normally does now, that's the way Miami could win the game. But being in Aggie land, and like I've said many times, I always felt like, and I've been everywhere I think except Ohio State of the tough places to play. I've always said A&M is the toughest place to play. The stadium is near straight up, and they're right on top of you, and the students, the alumni base, all that is so just stand up the whole game. It's different. It's different anywhere you go. And I've been there 3 or 4 times, and I've never, ever been to all of them. LSU, Alabama, Georgia, everywhere. I've been to all of them, and I still say that's the toughest place to play. And so I think it'll be off of Reed and how he does, but I think the Aggies will control the Miami offense. They don't run it great. They throw it very well. But the Aggies are like Oklahoma. I think it's the 2 best pressure football teams in the country. The different pressures they dial up and the speed they can run them with, and the different coverages they play with the pressures. I think when you get in those situations, they don't lose very often. And so I put the game a little bit just like the Oklahoma game. I think it's going to be close, but I believe A&M will pull it out. But this is going to be 2 great games back-to-back to watch now, the one tonight and the one tomorrow morning. Going to be fantastic football games.
When I think about Texas A&M, because you brought up the aspect of Marcel Reed, we don't exactly know what the ankle is feeling like. But the good thing about Texas A&M is, 1, they have a very good defense. But 2, they can really run the football, even if it's not Marcel Reed, because they have a stable of running backs back there, really good offensive line. How does that factor into this?
I think it's one of the missing pieces because Miami does not run it well. And people that have beaten the Aggies, or if they didn't beat them, move the ball on the Aggies, it's running right at them. Anybody that gets in the passing type downs now, they don't beat them. And Texas did a good job of running the ball and throwing a little quick passes and staying within the chains. And then Marcel in the second half couldn't move around much, and he did not have a really good second half, and he was hurt. And so I think his injury, if he's totally well, and Texas being able to stop the run on Miami, will be the 2 ways they win. If one of those 2 don't happen, Miami could win the game. If Reed is a little injured and can't move, or if for some reason the Hurricanes start running the ball well, they hadn't all year. It's a little bit like Alabama. They win throwing the football. They run it better than Alabama, but they're still not a great running team. And I think that's the way you got to get the Aggies. You got to stay within the chains.
What about line of scrimmage? Because when I look at this game, I think line of scrimmage, because Miami has one of the most feared defensive lines in the country, but then Texas A&M offensively, defensively, they're stacked across the board. How much do you think line of scrimmage factors into this outside of the passing game?
I think it does. I think if A&M can run the ball and control the Hurricanes running it, they'll win the game. Now, if A&M can't run it and Marcel isn't 100%, because he's going to have to move around against this front. This front will be in his face. The Hurricane front is really good. And they don't have to pressure a lot to get to you. They're that good of pass rushers. So I think the Aggies have got to run the ball like they do against everybody. They've got to be able to run the football pretty well. And the game they didn't is the only game they've lost, by the way. They did not run it well against Texas, who I think is probably the best run defense in the country. And they couldn't. And then Marcel getting hurt, that's why they lost that football game, in my opinion. So they've got to run it well tomorrow morning, and Marcel better be ready to move around some and make some plays.
Watson, you've been coming on the whole football season, so you know how much George, Kelly, and we've talked about this idea of a group of 5 playoff. And I've talked to a lot of people. They're okay with, maybe one group of 5 getting in, depending on how highly ranked they are. But the fact that there's 2 has a lot of people talking. Do you think that if, let's say, James Madison, they're going to Eugene tomorrow, do you think if they were to get blown out and Tulane going to Oxford, they were to get blown out, do you think that would create enough momentum for the people in charge to be like, okay, we need a separate group of 5 playoff?
Well, they're going to have to look at a lot. And I've been saying that, and I was in the room when the group of 5 first got put in. It was first put in as a chance to get in. If you're ranked at a certain high level, one might have a chance then to get in. And all we wanted as a group of 5 representatives, and Conference USA commissioner and myself being the AD at UAB, were the representatives in that room. And we were able to work ourselves in a spot I think we had to be in the top 10 or something. I don't exactly know what it was, but it was still remote to get in. It wasn't easy. But at least our group of 5 schools all knew they had a shot. And they'll never go to their own playoff till they don't have a shot. Till they're taken out of the thing completely is when they will go to a playoff, and I think it'll be better for them. And here's a group of 5 guys saying that. So if you're trying to get the best 12 teams to play in the playoffs, then you just cannot put them in unless you do like we did back before. If they're listed in the top 5, then they can get in, or they're in top 6 or whatever. But you can't have 2 of them in like this has happened. Why the ACC ever put in some kind of rules to the point, or the committee put in rules to the point of any champion is ranked below one of the group of 5s, then another group of 5 gets in. That's crazy. You win the ACC, you ought to be in, period. That's the way I look at it. If I don't care what your record was, if you win the dadgum ACC championship, you got to have a decent record to get in. And if you win it, you ought to be in the tournament. I mean, that's the way it is in basketball. That's the way it should be. If they'd even just had that rule this year, you would not see James Madison in. Duke would be in. And Duke is a solid team. Duke in my opinion, would beat James Madison. And so I'm to the point where if you want the best 12, I don't think that a group of 5s ought to be in it, because the way this NIL is going and transfer portal, they're going to get further and further because of money. The money these Power 4s are spending compared to group of 5s. Just look at the money that's being paid to the quarterbacks in the group of 5 compared to the Power 4s. It's just going to keep getting further and further apart. And so if we're going to get the best 12 teams, let's find a way to get the best 12 teams in there. If it goes to 16, I might be okay with the highest ranked one getting in. If it goes to 16, and if it were to go to 16, I think you won't have a bye. Everybody will play each other in the first round, and you won't have 4 people getting a bye. That's the only way you can do it, really, if you go to 16. But if it's 12, that's not the best 12 teams in the country.
Well, and you bring up a great point with the group of 5, because there's got to be a minimum baseline for them if they want to keep this same format of them getting into this 12-team playoff. There's got to be a minimum baseline, and to me, a Tulane team with 2 losses, that doesn't qualify you, because I Bleav they were ranked 20th in the last college football playoff rankings. You look at James Madison. Yeah, they won the Sun Belt. They have 1 loss, but if you look at their strength of schedule, it's in the hundreds. And they have 1 loss to a top 50. They've only played 1 team in the top 50, and that was Louisville, and they lost by 2 touchdowns. So to me, it's kind of unfair to just throw them both in when, even if they do find a way to squeak out a win in round 1, they'll either have, an Ohio State, a Texas Tech, or whoever waiting for them on the other side. To me, that's just not fair.
No, I agree with you 100%. And the only way that you let it stay to me is they have to be ranked in the top 12 by the committee. The committee has to rank one of them in the top 12 to get in. That's the way I would do it if you leave them in. But I'm not sure they're not better off if you took them out. And then if you did take them out, they would go to their own championship then, in my opinion. But if you leave the possibility of one of them getting in, they'll never go to their own championship. They're going to always want to hope for that one team that's ranked 8th in the country or whatever and know they'll get one in that way. But this year, neither one of those should be in if you do it the way I'm saying. That if a group of 5 gets in the end of the 12-team tournament, they've got to be ranked by the committee in that top 12.
I agree. So that's enough of that, because we've covered all the bases, and I'm sure you saw the Heisman Trophy ceremony. You saw Diego Pavia, his actions in New York City following him finishing second in the voting to Fernando Mendoza. What did you make of Diego Pavia's actions?
It's tough. I feel for the situation. I feel for him. Hopefully he learns a great lesson from this, because as he keeps moving on and he's going to be in the public eye more and more, you just got to watch those type of things. I mean, you're in New York City, the media capital of the world, and you just cannot pop things in like that. So I feel for him. It's tough, and then the only thing he can do from this is learn from it, and really learn from it, and just never let it happen again. But it's just tough on everybody.
And do you think that because he was already, projected to maybe even go undrafted, or at the very best be a day 3 pick, in the eyes of a draft or a scout or an NFL organization, do you think this hurt his stock?
Yeah, he'll have to work on that, because I've dealt with scouts 32 years as a head coach, and even as places I was coordinators at Oklahoma, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt. The scouts come through, and the first question asked, they're looking at his talent. When they want to sit down with you or anybody and ask a question, it's character, how will he handle himself, because that's on the scout. That's the scout's job. And if they bring one in that's an issue, then they're not going to be around long. So they work very hard at that. I think Diego's just going to have to really work hard at explaining to them it's a big mistake. I'll never do it again, and I've learned from it. And we all make mistakes. And that's if I'm Diego, that's the way I would handle it. And hopefully he can settle some of it down, because it will be an issue to the scouts. I promise you.
Looking at the overall landscape of the college football playoff, out of the 12 teams that we have in the field, how many teams do you think have a legit chance of winning a national championship?
Oh, I honestly think that any of the other than the 2 group of 5 schools, I think any of the rest of them will have a shot, because I just don't see the absolute, including Indiana. I don't see the absolute just you've got it picked. I said all last year on this show, Ohio State is going to win this thing, because it was a fluke they lost to Michigan and just played awful that day on offense, just awful. And they had the best team last year. They had physically the best team. I don't see that in one this year. I think that Ohio State, Indiana, my pick is Georgia. I think they're the one on the move. Indiana lost a very important defensive player from the last game, a very important defensive end I think he plays, but he's probably the best playmaker on the defense for Indiana. That's going to hurt them, I think. And they'll be there. They're going to be there, but I don't see a dominant one. I'm picking Georgia because of the improvement of that football team. You look at them playing early in the year to today, that defense has come a ton of a long ways. And the offense is built on running the ball and passes off the run, and their quarterback is a very tough runner and is a playmaker at critical times. So my pick is Georgia, but a bunch of people could win it this year. I think it's totally different than last year.
So Watson, I have a friend that coaches at the University of Georgia, and he fills me in kind of on what all goes on in their practices, and I find it very fascinating because Kirby Smart has openly admitted that this is not the most talented team that he has, but it's his favorite team because he truly loves the guys that are in his locker room. And when you watch Georgia throughout the year, think about how many times that they've almost gotten beat. Tennessee in week 3 on the ropes and kneeling. They win in overtime. Auburn, Florida. You can just go on and on with the list. But in order to beat a team like Georgia, you got to cut the head off the snake. And really the only team that's done that is Alabama. But Georgia got their revenge in the SEC championship game. Watson, they're my pick too because they're just scaling up at the right time.
No, they're battle tested. That's what I love about them. That's what I like about Indiana. They're battle tested. They had some close games, and they won them. And so I like that about both schools. But Georgia is really battle tested because they weren't in the lead in these games. They were behind and just hung in there. And when you watch the games, and I guess I saw every one of those games, and you watch Georgia play, they never lose their cool. They stay calm. They just hang in there. They hang in there. You don't see frustration on the sidelines with the players. They just stay calm. And I think that battle tested is huge because they're going to be in close games. Every game will be close. But losing to Alabama early in the year when they weren't near as good as they are now, their Alabama is probably about what they were. They've gotten better on defense, Alabama, but they've probably stayed about the same, maybe got a little worse on offense. But Georgia dominated them. They absolutely physically dominated them. That tells me how much better Georgia has gotten. And the confidence level of this team coming back in all those games. And, I mean, one play here or there, they don't win half of those games. And they made every play they had to make. And that's why I'm picking them. If they stay healthy, and don't lose certain people like the quarterback or whatever, I think they're going to end up being the winner through this thing.
Watson, an interesting note. The only quarterback in the 12-team field this year with previous playoff experience, Gunnar Stockton. So it's just crazy to think about. Crazy to think about.
It is crazy, but it's not a given by any means. I really thought Ohio State, and honestly, they were dominant. They were dominant all the way through the playoffs. And, I mean, they go to Oregon and just kill them, absolutely kill them. And so I don't see that. I see a bunch of Georgias. And any of those. Ole Miss could get hot. Losing the coach is the killer for them. I just think that's a killer. And I'm not sure Ole Miss is good enough on defense in the big games. When it gets to the big game, if they can control an offense well enough. But I can't say anybody other than the two group of fives that I would throw out. Oregon is dangerous as they can be. They're very dangerous. And do not forget about Ohio State. I mean, that they did not play well at all on offense in the Indiana game. They're capable of playing much better than they played. So do not forget about the Buckeyes.
Absolutely. Watson, really appreciate you coming on and helping me out as I'm flying solo today. Really excited to talk to you next week and enjoy the football this weekend.
Oh, I'm going to enjoy it, and you're doing a great job. Just keep going, buddy.
Appreciate it, Watson. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Okay, pal. See ya. Thanks.
That was Watson Brown, our good friend, one of the best talking football, knows the game inside and out. We're going to go ahead and head to a commercial break. We're going to open up the phone lines on the other side. You see the number at the bottom of the screen if you're watching via podcast, YouTube, Twitter, whatever. 615-759-9949. If you happen to be in the car driving and you can't see the number, I'll give it for you one more time. 615-759-9949. Phone lines are wide open, and as George would say, need some red-blooded Americans with some thoughts on the college football playoff because I am excited. Open up the phone lines one more time, 615-759-9949. Going to hit this commercial break. We'll be right back on the other side. You're listening to The George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Bleav Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
A golf cart from Mikey's Motors is the perfect way to get around this summer. Whether you're going to the park, the pool, or the playground, do it in a brand new golf cart from Mikey's Motors, Franklin and Murfreesboro.
Summertime fun in Tennessee. That's what we sell at Mikey's Motors. Come see how we roll.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. You've heard me talk about the putting zone. Well, guess what? It's now open, and it offers a revolutionary indoor golf experience featuring state-of-the-art putting surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you. Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun. Friends Celebrity Bowling Night.
ESPN Radio lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
Welcome back into the George Plaster Show. We're opening up the phone lines at 615-759-9949. I'm disappointed because nobody has called in yet. And I'm starting to lose my voice, guys, if I'm being honest. So a lesser man would complain, though. We're going to push through. We got 30 minutes left. Lots of football to talk about. If we're not going to get any callers, I have a tirade ready to go. Sort of my CFP spiel on how we got to this point, because there's been a lot of talk about bowl season, about expanding the college football playoff, about the group of five inclusion in the college football playoff. And I kind of wanted to address, because I love this sport. I'm very romantic about this sport. And I think college football in terms of ratings has never really done better. It's been very entertaining. The drama, especially with the coaching carousel, it has been wild. There have been, I want to say, close to 30 openings at schools like LSU and Florida, Michigan State. Michigan just came open. Like all these different job, and I'm sure that I'm there's so many schools out there that have just lost coaches. So in terms of drama, in terms about things to talk about, what just happened at Ohio with their coach, I mean, college football is second to none in terms of drama. So hold on one second. I think we have a couple of callers ready to go. Let me hold on one second. We will be getting a couple callers here. Want to thank Brad Logan for coming on from Ole Miss, closer to 350 to talk a little Ole Miss. To Lane John Christ, who came on earlier. It's always great to talk with him as he's helping out at the Last Minute Toy Store. Watson Brown, obviously one of our favorites. So here's my tirade. Here's my tirade for the college football playoff. How do we get here? Well, I've told George and Kelly that this really started. Remember when the 4-team playoff was introduced, and you remember those commercials about who's in, and you saw all those different slogans, and that was where this all started 10 years ago when the 4-team playoff was introduced. And really before that got a chance to kind of stick around, they already talked about expanding. So we do have a caller, Drew, on line 1. Drew, how are we doing? What's up?
I'm doing great. What is the topic of discussion here?
We're talking a little college football, Drew.
Okay. So, in my humble opinion, I Bleav the college football playoffs should have stayed at 4. And then if we're going to do 12, then they need to do a smaller conference college football playoff as well.
That ties in perfect because we were just talking about that, because I was fine with 4, but I Bleav when we expanded this thing, it kind of made bowl season less relevant because it doesn't have that same luster. I would have been fine with 4, 6, maybe even 8, but that at the max. How do you feel about all this talk about expanding to 16? Because I think it's crazy.
I think then especially with the way that teams are now just not accepting bowl invites, you will see bowl games just be extinct. If you go to 16, you're also making these college kids play a lot of football games. Okay, there's already injuries on injuries with just the normal. Even when there was just 4 teams in the playoffs, so then you're adding all these extra games. And then you're going to see teams that lose the first 3 games or 3 out of 5. And then they're just going to be like, okay, well, this season is a bust. Let's work on getting all of our NIL money in for next year. And it's going to be irrelevant. So you're going to have the same maybe 20 teams over a course of 10 years into the playoff. And everybody else is just going to play their 10 games for absolutely nothing. And bowl games will go extinct.
So, Drew, we've been talking about this a lot, but I want your idea. So there are 136 FBS teams in college football. So if you think about it theoretically, UL Monroe and Georgia are competing for the same trophy, which it doesn't make sense, because if you think about in high school, you have your different classifications, so 6A, 5A, 4A, and they play for their own state championship. You don't see 1A schools playing 6A schools for the state championship. It just doesn't make any sense. So you have Tulane and James Madison. James Madison is probably going to get blown out tomorrow at Oregon, and that's their reward for winning the Sun Belt and having their best season in school history. It just doesn't make sense. Would you be opposed to having a separate group of 5 playoff, in which I think you talked about, where they can have a trophy, a national championship that they can actually win?
I do. It's either they make a group of 5 or the 12 game format is pointless, because again, tomorrow it will be a blowout and it will be pointless because they're just not even close in comparison. But if you're going to add all these teams, it's almost like, I want to compare it to March Madness, but March Madness is basketball, and basketball, anything can happen.
Right, 2 different sports.
When you go into football, it's okay, you're going powerhouse versus a team that, they won the Sun Belt Conference, but who they play. What is their strength of schedule in the Sun Belt versus?
Oh, it's in the hundreds. It's in the hundreds. And the best team they played is Louisville. It's like a top 50 team, and they got beat by 2 touchdowns.
Exactly.
Man,
so it's like, what are we competing for here?
Exactly. Drew, really appreciate the call. Got some more callers on the line. Really appreciate the call, though.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, let's go to Anthony in Old Hickory on line 2. Anthony, what's up?
Hey, how you doing, Parker?
What's good? What's on your mind?
I want to talk about this Miami Texas A&M game tomorrow. I think a lot of people. I think it would probably be the best game of the weekend. Obviously, there's only 2 games that really matter because I don't think Tulane's doing much, as well as JMU. But I think Miami is kind of being underrated in this Texas A&M matchup. I think both teams have good resumes. Obviously, the most common opponent is beating Notre Dame, but
sure,
I think Miami is kind of getting written off before they're even getting in there. I know some people are kind of writing them as, sleepers for the whole playoffs, but I think they're going to shock a lot of people tomorrow. Maybe close to a blowout. I wouldn't say necessarily a blowout, but I'm thinking 2 scores. What are your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I was just having a conversation with somebody today, and if Miami were to win this game, there's no way that I would consider that an upset, because if you're looking over at FanDuel, I think Texas A&M's favored by 3.5. That line actually went down from 5.5. So if Miami were to win the game, there's no way that I consider that an upset. But I will say, Miami has not played in an environment like this at all this year. I don't think they've seen anything like College Station in the last 2 years. So I think it's going to catch them by surprise. But if they're able to settle in early, I agree. I think this can be one of the games of the weekend.
And I agree. And I think one advantage we do have is Carson Beck playing at Georgia previously. He has that. He has that kind of mentality and that mindset of how to play in these big games. So I think if he can kind of coach his other teammates with it, I think Miami's in for a really good game, as well as we have some key players coming back. I think Deontay Scott, his name, Deontay, back at safety. He's back this week. So I think it'll be a really good game. I think defensively, it's going to be a very good game. It's going to be really whose defense is going to crack first, whether Miami's going to give up that run first, or if Texas A&M is going to give up the Malachi Tony role. We don't know what he's going to be doing, but if they give up any kind of big plays to Malachi Tony, what's going to happen to him?
And dude, that is a great point, because we just had Watson Brown, who is a former coach at Vanderbilt, and he was saying that he thinks Miami's strength in this game is going to be the pass. And it's kind of interesting to think about, because from a 50,000 point view, you think line of scrimmage and how good Miami is on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. Same can be said of Texas A&M, but Marcel Reed's health is kind of in question, so I think they're going to have to rely on the run a lot tomorrow. Miami doing the pass, so it's going to be fun. Really appreciate the call, Anthony.
Yeah, thank you, man. Have a nice holidays.
Let's go to Nicholas on line 3. Nick, what's up?
Hey, how are you?
What's going on, man?
Hey, doing good, Parker. How are you?
What's on your mind?
Hey, so I just wanted to talk and touch upon the topic about what Drew was talking about the expansion of the college football playoffs. See, I'm kind of in a disagreement on that, just because of I don't think that we need to add more national championships to a sport. See, like I mean, I get it that we want to make it fair and that we want to make a group of 5 and whatnot, but in all honesty, in my honest opinion on this is, I think they need to get a hold of NIL and figure that out first.
Yeah, I mean, if you're waiting for that to happen, you don't hold your breath, because the NCAA is pretty much irrelevant at this point, and they're trying to get that figured out. But until college football gets a commissioner, I don't see that getting reined in anytime soon. But let me ask you this, because if you think about this in a hypothetical sense, James Madison in Georgia are competing for the same trophy. And we know the SEC and the Big Ten, they're at the top of the sport. The ACC and Big 12 really can't touch those 2 conferences. And then you throw in the group of 5 into that mix as well. To me, it's just, I'm fine if you have one group of 5 team. I don't think I would be opposed to that. But there's got to be a minimum baseline, a minimum ranking that they get to in order to be included. I mean, they're just not playing the same sport. So to me, it's very unfair.
No, I get it. I really do get it. But I think also the one thing though too is is that if we do, like, let's say for instance you get the cap on the NIL, okay? Like let's say we cap NIL at like $2 million per school. All right. And if that happens, then if players, because right now it seems like it's all about the money and players are just going after money and money and money. So like, let's say you give each school a $2 million cap. Those athletes are then going to start venturing out to schools that are probably going to offer them more money. And then at the same time too, I possibly do believe that I think lower end schools, like, I'm not saying the Sun Belt's going to turn into the SEC, but I'm just saying that I think there's a good possibility where then they can become competitive with one another, where schools can become more competitive. Because if you look at it, I mean, you go look at these schools as far as like March Madness. I heard March Madness was brought up for example. Like, anybody can beat anybody, but I also do believe though it's because NIL is changing over like there, because they don't have the amount of funds like football does. Like, you're looking right now, you got BYU is number 6 in the country. When has BYU ever been a good basketball school? And they went and got the number 1 player in the ESPN top 300 last year, and then now all of a sudden they're a top 10 school in the college basketball. So like, it's like, I think if you can get a cap on this NIL thing, I think you'll start to see these lower end schools start to be able to offer the money. Because like, you look at it and it's like, not even that, it's just like, you're also going to look at it as all these like lower end schools that are in the Power Fours are going to start becoming better now too, because they're going to be able to keep up with Georgia, Bama, and offering all these people this NIL money.
Yeah, so you do bring up a point about BYU, and that's crazy that they are. And same thing with Indiana in football. Like, when have we ever talked about Indiana in football being the number 1 seed, playing in the Rose Bowl?
They've always been a basketball school.
Right. So here's the thing, though. Here's where I'm going to push back a little bit, because I hardly use basketball logic for football logic, because basketball, the idea of the Cinderella is what really carries that tournament. In football, you can physically lay your hands on people, and it's truly about bigger, faster, stronger. In basketball, you do that's a foul. So that's where the difference is in football and basketball to me. But also too, with those group of 5, if you were to put a cap, and they've kind of already done that with, this house settlement. If you put a cap on NIL, it still doesn't really matter, because the group of 5 doesn't have the same resources that you would find at a LSU, Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State, any of those schools.
Agreed, but at the same time, though, then what if these group of 5s are going to start getting these higher recruits, though, because they're not going to go to those Georgia and Bama, because they're not going to be able to offer them the money that, like, let's say James Madison, for example, offers them $500,000, and Georgia can only offer him $100,000. It's like, okay, like, does he want to go for the money, or is he going to go play ball at Georgia? I think, though, possibly that it just allows the competition to level out a little bit more, because then teams are really hesitant on offering all this money to one specific player. Unless they really want that player, then they can. But then it's like, if you offer them that $500,000 out of the $2 million, it's like, okay, now you only got $1.5 million and you already used $500,000 on one player.
We are starting to see, like you're talking about the curve. The curve is starting to flatten a little bit. It's not going to flatten all the way to the point in which you're talking about, because Texas Tech is one of those teams that historically has not been a blue blood in football, but you see what a little bit of money can do. And Indiana, and I know Maryland got a big recruit. So, like, it's flattening out a little bit, but I don't think it'll ever get to that point in which you're talking about. Thank you for the call, Nick. I got a couple more to get to, but I really appreciate the call. Let's go to Mike.
Good speaking with you, Parker.
Yep, appreciate it. Let's go to Mike and Melrose on line 4. Mike, what's up?
Good afternoon. I do agree most stuff that you and Watson bring up. One thing I don't agree with Watson as far as Duke just because they won the ACC. I mean, the ACC was pretty much terrible. I mean, because you look at Duke lost 5 games. They got blown out at home to Illinois. They lost to Connecticut. They lost to Tulane. So that's just saying your out of conference schedule, those games mean nothing. Just because you won a weak conference, you beat Syracuse and Clemson team. That just he's saying, and I love Watson. He played for my dad at Vanderbilt, but that's just saying, he's saying you want the top 12 teams in the country. Duke is definitely not one of the top 12 teams. They beat Virginia, a team that beat them by 17 points like 3 weeks before.
Yeah, and part of that too, the ACC is just their tiebreaker scenario is just a total mess, and they're trying to fix it. But I don't know if you saw that they're having this situation in which 12 teams in their league going to play a 9-game conference schedule. The other 5 are playing 8. It's just a mess over there. So I agree, though. Duke with 5 losses, even though they are the ACC champ. 1, I don't even know if they should have been playing in the game. But 2, a 5-loss team is never going to get included in the field. So hence, we have 2 group of 5s in.
Also, I find it kind of weird that, Cutcliffe, the former coach at Duke, when he talked about players opting out, he says they just quit on your team. But then Watson said, Watson's like my dad. He has no problem with it. That, like Stowers might not play in the game, which I understand because, it could ruin a guy's career. It happened to the running back from South Carolina years ago. So I see both sides of it. Anyway, hey, last thing, I did go down to Memphis for the basketball game of the night, and it was not pretty, but it was a win. It was just a turnover, and Vanderbilt just shot terrible. But anyway, came home with the victory.
Man, that was a great game. I was expecting Vanderbilt to kind of blow them out, but the fact that it went to overtime, it was a good game.
They just turned the ball over so much. It's unforced turnovers and just shot. Tyler Nichols shot terrible, and just anyway, it is what it is. Y'all have a good weekend.
Thank you for the call, Mike. Man, some great callers. Lots of thoughts on the college football playoff. Little basketball in there. We got Oklahoma and Alabama kicking off in about 2 hours, 10 minutes. College game day going to be live here pretty soon as well. I believe at 5, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll hit one more break. When we come back on the other side, it's Plaster's bet of the day. He was able to get in his best of the weekend. I will kind of go through those for him, and we'll get to that on the other side. You are listening to The George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Here's David Levy of Levy's Men's and Women's Wear in Green Hills.
Hey, George. As a 170-year-old clothier, we are loaded for the holiday season with great gift items for you or your significant other. Plus, we have front door parking, experienced associates to answer your questions, free gift wrap, and we are surprisingly affordable, even for you. This holiday season, treat yourself to a touch of luxury without any of the fuss. Levy's Green Hills, 3900 Hillsborough Pike, across from Virtus and behind Donut Den.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donley Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donley have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonleyTimmons.com.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, Class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
PancoastBenefits.com or call them at 615-292-3400.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Time for our final segment here on the George Plaster Show. Here on this Friday, December 19th, 2025, live from the Last Minute Toy Store. Huge thanks to them for having us out today. They're doing some great work. So it's truly a privilege to be out here. And that's not a great segue because I'm about to show you Plaster's bet of the day. It's been rough sledding and not exactly going out on a good note, but here it is. So just looking at the results of this week specifically, George is 2-3. He did get the Arkansas State pick right. They played Missouri State yesterday in the Xbox Bowl. So congratulations to the Red Wolves and George's overall record, 95, 113, and 6. We'll have to see how he does with his picks this weekend. And as you can probably guess, we're going first round of the college football playoff. So this Alabama-Oklahoma game, the betting odds are telling you that this game is basically at a pick 'em because Alabama is favored by 1.5 on the road in Norman. Here's the thing. This is the aspect that people are not really thinking about. One, if Alabama were to lose this game to Oklahoma, this would be their third straight loss to the Sooners under Kalen DeBoer. Let's not forget that Oklahoma beat Alabama last year in Norman. Then, not even a month ago, they went to Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama then. So this is their third time meeting in the last, 13 months. So there will be a lot of pressure on Kalen DeBoer. Plus, what happens if he loses this game? What happens with the Michigan job opening? These are all things to think about. So George is picking Alabama to beat Oklahoma. He's taking Miami +3 versus Texas A&M. I'm going to assume that means that he's taking Miami outright as well versus Texas A&M. I've, talked about with Watson Brown. I think Texas A&M is going to win this football game because Miami has not seen a road environment like this in a little while. College Station, one of the most electric atmospheres in all of the country. I apologize. I'm losing my voice. Been talking on the radio for 5 hours today. So a lesser man would complain. We got to finish out the show. Ole Miss, a 17.5 point favorite versus Tulane. No disagreements there. I actually think we had Brad Logan on who covers Ole Miss. He thinks that Tulane is going to keep it competitive if you're considering competitive a 2-score game. I disagree. I think Ole Miss is going to run away with this. Last time they played, and granted it was early, Ole Miss won 45-10. So if Tulane is even a little bit more competitive, I still don't see it where the Green Wave covered the spread. I just don't see it. Oregon and James Madison. Boy, have we talked about this. I think that 21.5 point spread is not enough. I think Oregon is going to give James Madison the thumbs down. If you've ever seen the movie Gladiator, Dan Lanning is going to give James Madison the thumbs down. He views this as a tune-up game for Texas Tech, and that would be if Oregon were to win this game, they'd meet Texas Tech in the Orange Bowl in Miami. I think Oregon is going to beat James Madison by 45 or more. I really do not think this is going to be close whatsoever. I just don't see it. So those are Plaster's bets of the weekend. Look at that. We made it. We made it to the end of the show. Really appreciate everybody that's listening. Appreciate Terry McCormick coming on at the start, John Chris, Brad Logan, Watson Brown, The fine folks here at the Last Minute Toy Store, they're doing phenomenal work, and it truly is an honor to be out there. Really appreciate all the listeners as well. We'll talk to you Monday. Enjoy the football. Stay safe. Stay warm. God bless. Talk to you soon.
Now, here's your latest Fox 17 Code Red weather report.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bowe. Best sunshine here on your Friday. High temperatures a little on the colder side. We'll stay in the low 40s. Overnight, we drop down to 30 and stay clear, and back into the upper 50s for your Saturday.
Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Hey guys, it's Mike from Newton Fort South. We're still hard at work helping people make those holiday wishes come true. What's on your list this year? Is it a tune-up in the service drive before you brave that drive to Grandma's house? Or maybe a reliable new ride for your 16-year-old? If you need us, we're here for you. We have great year-end pricing and the expert service you can rely on. Visit us online to schedule your service or a test drive, and come see our Christmas tree. See our full schedule and inventory at newtonfortsouth.com.
The George Plaster Show gets advertisers the results they're looking for. For example, here's Metro Nashville Police Officer Garen Hoskins.
You hear me all the time on the show talk about changes in career, people looking to serve their community and get into law enforcement and join a great department. And I just so happened to meet an individual who heard my segment on your show, has already applied, has come from multiple different career paths, and has always had this dream. And we're very glad to have him. That's just going to be the start of many.
If you want to be part of the Plaster Show advertising family, it's simple. Just email me, plastergeorge@gmail.com. Again, plastergeorge@gmail.com. We will fit your budget and your needs.
No one in Middle Tennessee should face hunger alone. With rising costs and recent disruptions to federal programs, right now too many families, many for the first time, are struggling to put food on the table. Second Harvest Food Bank of Middle Tennessee is here to help and needs your support. Whether you're seeking assistance or want to give back through donations or volunteering, visit secondharvestmidtn.org. Every dollar, every can, and every helping hand makes a difference. Stand with us, because together we can end hunger in our community.